Hello, my name is Paul Anthony.
And I'm CP.
And in today's video we're going to be reviewing the Terre de Hermès Parfum, which is the stronger version of the Terre de Hermès EDT that we have previously reviewed here and on bespokeunit.com. You can see the links below for those. So Charles-Philippe, let's jump straight into it. Who's the fragrance by? What's it called? When was it made? And you can also crank into the composition because we are using
the Bespoke Unit fragrance formula, also known as Buff.
Yeah, we're in the buff here. Going straight into the buff.
And you can download your own blank copy in the description below, so you can review your own fragrances at home. So let's jump straight to it. Terre d'Hermès was released by Hermès back in 2009, so 3 years after the Eau de Toilette version in 2006. Because it's a parfum, it doesn't necessarily mean it's just stronger. There are some differences in the composition, and we'll quickly break those down right now. So in the head you're looking at blood orange and grapefruit, so quite a bittersweet, very citrusy, but very thick and oily head. In the heart we're looking at patchouli, which is quite earthy, flint, which is quite a mineral note, and then pepper to add a little bit of spicy roundedness. Once you get to the base you have a sandalwood foundation, which has oak moss, as well as benjoin, which is a slightly vanilla-y, but not to be mistaken with vanilla incense. Meanwhile, the sandalwood is going to be quite a rounded, warmer wood, unlike cedarwood, which is in the EDT, which is going to be much more fresh and invigorating.
Now moving on to seasonality. This is where I think the two fragrances probably differ.
Yeah.
Well, the two fragrances differ slightly because of the more cedar. I think pushes it more into winter for the EDT, but we'll cover that in the specific video. We have a link below where we review the Parfum versus the EDT. We also, Charles-Philippe and I differ on where we believe this fragrance best sits seasonality. I'm probably more sitting in winter, late autumn, early spring, but you think it's a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it's more autumny and spring, really the milder months, especially this citrus note that you have in there. For me is very reminiscent of sort of the Mediterranean citrus fields and that hot burning rock under the sun, but at the same time we're closing in on the evening, so you don't have the heat of the summer. So that's just the way I see it. It's kind of a bit weird.
But the fragrance family for this is a kind of a woody spicy.
It is indeed.
So,
yes.
but it has that, but it still has that, as you say, citrusy ping. Because it is woody spicy. Once you get into the dry down, then I again, for me on my skin, I think it's more of a winter frag. So.
And that's important to keep in mind. Everyone's skin is different, and everyone's interpretation or usage for a fragrance may vary slightly. There is no be-all and end-all when it comes to this.
We are probably the worst review buddies ever because our skin reacts so differently.
Well, I think that's good as well, though. We have two completely different perspectives.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to differ slightly. And then we go on to weight and strength.
So I found this actually quite disappointing, and it's something we'll get to on an EDT and Parfum breakdown comparison of the Terre d'Hermès, because I felt that this didn't perform quite as you'd expect for a Parfum.
No, I was pretty disappointed as well. For a 200ml bottle at $220, I was expecting a little bit more performance.
So here you have quite a short range sillage, which means the weight behind the person wearing it. You're looking about a meter, maybe a meter and a half projection, very tight projection sphere. Scent bubble there is quite narrow as well. And the longevity, while it may last slightly longer than the EDT, it's going to be mostly a skin scent, so by that time you'll be reapplying anyway.
Third party feedback, I mean, I absolutely love the EDT version, at which point I decided to kind of buy this kind of blind, I believe it was from Heathrow Airport when I was coming back from the UK back here to Philadelphia. I haven't had any negative feedback whatsoever, but my own personal first party feedback is it may not be as nice as the EDT on my skin. Which I know we're going to touch on age range and stuff like that in a little bit. How's your third party feedback been? Well,
I've been reading a lot in the fragrance community, and there is quite a debate going on between EDT, Parfum and Eau de Parfum, and the opinion basically, well, there are two camps. There's some people that say they much prefer the EDT because it's fresher, it's much livelier, and it has much more presence, whereas there's an entirely different group that is claiming that the Parfum is going to be much more mature, more rounded, and much more refined as a general composition and blend.
If we move on to the impressions then, you know, I feel that like the EDP is better suited to someone of my age in like their mid to low 30s, but I could see this working exceptionally well because it is a very refined, sophisticated, not overpowering fragrance. It's there in all the right ways for someone who's maybe in their 40s, 50s and 60s, 70s beyond. And I know you had an interesting story when you first smelled this, when it first came out, when you were 18.
Yeah, 18,
your impression
19.
was kind of like, wow. I'll let you tell the story.
For me, it was like an aspirational fragrance. I smelled that and I said, this is what I want to wear when I'm an adult. And I own the EDT now and I absolutely love it, but I still smell this. I love it, but I don't think I'm ready yet.
Sure. So I think time of day for an older gentleman, it could probably be any time of day. But for a younger person, it may be more of a sophisticated evening fragrance. Formality, again, I think if you're looking at age range or, you know, profession, if you're a guy, you know, an older gentleman in his 50s, 60s that's maybe an accountant or a lawyer, you could probably wear this in the cooler months to work. But, you know, it definitely works as an evening fragrance. It's definitely very sophisticated. I mean, it could be a black tie in a bottle.
I'd say that's black tie, personally.
So, masculinity?
Well, we do have a lot of conventionally masculine notes in there, such as the very sort of oily grapefruit head, the earthy patchouli, and the sandalwood and benjoin. So this is quite a conventionally masculine, quite a strong masculine fragrance.
Yep, totally agree. As for presentation, we're both big fans of the box and the glass bottle. You got the nice Hermès H there on the bottom. We also have this kind of, I think we said we both kind of keep this
down anyway because it's easier.
You know, we'll get a few sprays. Probably got a nice 18 to 24 inch spray there. It's a nice mist. It's not one of those like Dior Sauvage, which is just like the finest. It's the finest mist ever, and it's not also like a water gun. So I think it's definitely a nice atomizer. It's got a nice kind of click there, the stopper that stops it from kind of spinning down. So I think it will travel relatively well.
Meanwhile, the box, I love this kind of coffee, sort of chocolatey tonka bean color we have here with the silhouette of the Hermès logo, and I do like this orange and white sans serif font. I think it's very refined, quite eye-catching with the orange and the orange contrast from the brown. So it's a great one for gifts, and it's pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely. As for value for money, this bottle was $220. I'm not really sure what you can get it for on the kind of grey market with respect. For those of you who are interested, both Charles-Philippe and I believe the batch number is DDAAP, which is both on the back of the box and the back of the bottle here as well. So it is a 200ml Parfum for $220, which isn't outrageous, but it doesn't really perform like other Parfums that you know,
might be disappointed with its overall performance, especially if you already own the EDT.
But definitely not a bad fragrance. One that I'm obviously keeping in the lineup for a while, so I've got 200ml of it. You know, it'd be interesting to maybe play them off each other a little bit. You know, as we go forward here. So yeah, love to hear your thoughts below on what you think about Terre Hermès Parfum version. Please check out the links below to the EDT review and where we compare these two fragrances, kind of the pros and cons as well, most of which, you know, you may want to add some comments to, which you can do so below. Please like the video if you did like it, and subscribe to the channel and turn on those alerts. Anything else there, Charles-Philippe?
I think we covered everything now.
Perfectly. With all of that being said, my name's Paul Anthony.
And I'm CP.
I'll see you next time.
Take care.